What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 196 of the Bench Time podcast with Todd and Brett Wiley of Wiley Scale Modeling.
Does it feel like we've been like the last 20 episodes have just like to reach 200 has just been? It's like a slow pace.
I feel like I've been at the same number for like a month and a half or two now.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. You know,
not that I don't want to record them. It just feels like I'm like I have to keep double checking the number, and I'm like, wait, I think we did 196 last week.
Yeah. Well, I've been enjoying these.
We're at 196, so officially. But yeah,
that's insane.
So I wanted to kick off this week's episode with the introduction that we actually did start the Roast My Build group on Facebook.
It's growing.
It's growing, yeah, I know. It's actually been pretty funny. I've not been in there to like make a bunch of... There's 46 members in a week already.
I know.
So, that's been fun.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that continues.
Enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Everybody's following the rules and doing pretty good with it. I haven't seen anybody get butt hurt yet, and which is good, because if that's the case, just don't be there. It's all for fun, and you'll learn to take a little ribbon, learn to give a little ribbon. Keep it clean, and it's been a good time. There's been some funny. There's been some funny.
I like the one where you said earlier. Jeff put up that picture yesterday of his sheep, and their feet are all still.
That's how they're gonna get on the train car if they're shackled together in their feet.
Oh. That was a funny one.
Yeah,
but
well, I mean, like I said, and that's what it's all about. Is the modeling on there for the most part is pretty damn good. I mean, there's some awesome artists that have been putting in their stuff in there, and good modelers and guys that really have some beautiful builds that have been putting their stuff up there and willing to go to the gauntlet to get their stuff, roasted. And I think that's great.
It's funny because the whole idea of it was to do just that.
Yeah.
It's just funny, like, it's something you would do with your buddies if you were in their workshop and you were good friends with them, and you're like, hey, what the hell did you do here? And you make fun of them for it.
Exactly.
But, hey, we'll keep it going as long as people follow the rules, and if they're not, we'll kick them out. So,
dude, it's a couple of them, it was really hard to find things.
The Dollar General one was one of the funniest, by the way.
And they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
No. Okay?
It's just it's funny to find things that you find you could roast or be abnormal. Yeah,
and you know what? There was once, I think I got in a comment a couple times. I did a roast, and then I said, "Hey, but here's a roast on it." But at the same time, it's a heck of a build.
Yeah, and that's fine. I did that once or twice too. I'm gonna try and get away from that.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why.
Because that's not the spirit of a roast.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and compliment your shit. You put it up, and that's what it is, man. We're gonna roast it, and I expect mine to be roasted as well. It's not something. I don't want it to get into a big compliment or anything. That's what happens on all the other pages, and it's not just you or me. I did it a couple times too. It's not just us. There's other people that are doing it too. They'll say something, and then they're not quite sure that they want to make it. They want to be that guy, so they don't quite have that roasting. They haven't developed the roast in them yet. So a part of them is like, hey, you know what? I want to kind of be nice too, because it is. That's
it's all in fun now. They'll get it.
Yeah,
they'll get it.
It's cool. It's a fun idea. I think it's going to catch on.
I mean, we're almost 50 people in the first week, so I think
that's
it's
good.
A success. So if you're still listening, the group is a private group on Facebook called Roast My Build, and it's for military models. It's for whatever. Most of it's been model railroading right now, or diorama. But get in there and roast our builds. Join, and then don't also forget you got to post your own stuff too. So.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Don't get in and just roast and then don't post your own things.
Yeah, that's just it. And if all you want to do is roast, I don't have a problem with you roasting. Just if you're not posting and you're roasting,
Yeah.
then keep it clean. You know, don't just. I don't want some bozo coming in going, "Oh, I'm gonna go in there and rip everybody up," and then we don't know who he is and everything else, and he's a jackass.
Yeah.
Well, then we got an issue.
Yeah.
But we'll take care of all that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that was a successful first week for Roast My Build.
That's right. Keep it coming.
So, anyways, hey, I got an interesting thing tonight.
Yeah. What?
It's not modeling related, but we used to just talk about, like, what are you drinking at the workbench?
Yeah, I have a Yingling Lager going on right now.
I have. You ready for this?
Uh huh.
I have a Coca-Cola Zero Oreo edition.
What?
Fizzy cookie flavored Coke.
That sounds fucking disgusting, man.
I'm gonna send you a picture of it real quick.
I'm sorry, no, man. I'm not. I'll look at it, but I'm not coming to your house and drinking one of those things.
Lucky for you, it's a limited edition.
Oh yeah. Well, don't worry. In about a month, Coca-Cola will have that shit in every freaking convenience store.
Did you try the spiced Coke?
No, and I won't. I won't even eat spiced anything. I don't drink spiced anything. There's no spiced lattes, none of that shit.
Look at what I just sent
I don't
you.
drink it. Hold on.
It's on Facebook Messenger.
All right. Wait, I'm still in there.
I'm just gonna say it's interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, hold on, let me switch accounts. Okay.
Well, anyways, it's an interesting drink. We're gonna try it out here on the podcast. So.
Oh, here we go.
Here, I'm gonna open it now. I'll give you my first taste test here.
Well, I didn't get that. I got a whole mess of meme.
Oh, you gotta scroll down. All right, so the first sip.
Oh, zero. Okay. Oh my god, the can's cool looking.
Yeah. The first sip of it though, it tastes like an Oreo.
No kidding you.
Yeah, it does. I'll let you guys know as I sip through it how the taste changed.
It says at the bottom. It says fizzy cookie flavored.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
that's the thing. We went down to when your mom and I went out to Vegas back in April, and in the MGM Grand they have a Coca-Cola store. Okay, it's a Coca-Cola. It's part of the front of the MGM along, the strip there. And we went in, and they have all these different Coke flavors in there.
Huh.
And you could take Coke tests, test the different Coke flavors. You buy them like a flight, and they have all these different flavors of Coke. There's no alcohol in them or anything. It's just, and it's not cheap. It's like for a flight of 12, I think you're paying. They're only little Dixie cup things, right? They're little Dixie cup things. It's like $18 or $20, and you get a flight of these different flavored Cokes from all around the world. And we didn't do it, but I was like checking it out, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know there were all those many different flavors.
Yeah. Well,
So.
I'm gonna let you know. I'm 2 sips into my Coke Zero Oreo, and I could tell I'm not gonna like it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
got to be sweet.
Yeah, it's not much different than a Coke, but the aftertaste. It tastes like
one can. Right?
It tastes like what's that?
You just bought one can.
No, I bought a 6-pack.
Oh my!
I can only get a 6-pack. I saw it at Target on the shelf. I'm like, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
And I got the 7-ounce can though, so thank God it's only like a couple sips. But I'm gonna tell you, it tastes like an Oreo the first sip or two, and then now it's starting to taste like unhealthy science experiment. Like it's not now. It's starting to taste like chemicals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I'll report in when I get halfway through.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, all right. So What else is new? What else have you been working on? What have you been building? I know you got a lot more going on as far as your dioramas. I have a couple things I was doing over here at the actual layout.
Well, since I really went to town on this last build, this new building I'm doing. Everybody saw the cafe, right? The French cafe, and this one's going to sit directly next to it on the street. It's a second building. There's only going to be two main buildings. There'll be a roadway down between the two of them, like an alleyway. And then this building here is it's a storefront. It's it's like a stucco building on a concrete foundation with stucco walls, brick covered stucco walls, and it has a brick exposed in different places where it's been falling off and stuff. It's a resin cast build. Okay, it's resin cast, and then I've got to put it together, glue it together with epoxy like all the other resin cast ones, and put the two-part epoxy walls like ass. It's awful. You know how two-part epoxy smells.
Uh-huh.
So I did that, and then I started priming
Smells like
it.
this. It kind of smells like this Coca-Cola Zero Oreo.
Does it smell bad too?
Yeah, it smells like a liquefied Oreo.
Oh.
It's not. Anyways, I'll continue.
And so, anyways, I painted it up. I painted the brick, then all the face. And this has all been within the last week or so. I mean, I really went to town on this, and it's coming along real good. It's almost done now. I just got to put some window dressings in it, and some curtains on the second and third floor. The front has a door in the middle with two windows on the side. It says it's a stone storefront. What the hell does it say exactly here? It says Old City Small Store. It doesn't say stone shit. But so Old City Small Store. The other building was a stone building, and it's neat. I love it, but it could also pass as just a regular, row home in Europe, But the two big windows in the front, I'll get to that. So I painted it all up, and I weathered it with lots and lots of different layers of paint, but acrylic and enamels and oils, and I'm working now with some washes. An ink wash that I used, and I'll talk about that at some point too. The fact that you can mix ink, acrylic ink, and it actually is pretty nice. It's fun for weathering, on the weathering side of things. So, but and that's something new that's taken off is this acrylic ink stuff. Now I don't have much of it. I only have like I don't have any of the acrylic ink. Actually, I have the alcohol ink.
Right.
But and it does okay. I want to try some of the acrylic inks that are coming out. AK's making some. I know MIG is putting it out as well. So what happens is they all start to copycat each other, and everybody, their mother's going to have it. Vallejo's going to have it, and
Oh yeah.
they're all going to get it. It's going to be the new thing. Mission. They're all going to get it. But anyhow, so I did that, and then I looked at the side of the building on both sides on the sides, on the left and right side of the building, there is one straight flat wall on both sides. No windows, nothing like that. Okay, like the cafe had windows and stuff on the side, and it was there was some detailed work. Okay, here it's just stucco flat wall, not even any bricks exposed on that side, right? So I was like, it looks now the one side is going to be facing the one side of the cafe, so I don't care what's on that wall, okay? Because it's going to be down the alley, nobody's going to notice it. The other wall will be exposed when you look at the diorama from the side, okay? So it's going to be completely visible, and it's up high. It's a high building, and so I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a wall painted a painted wall advertisement on it. Right? In French. So I went online, found some French. It came with some decals, okay, that you could do stuff like that. Okay, and the other one did as well. And I didn't use them because anybody who's built this building is using the same damn decals for a wall sign,
Right.
right? Plus, this is 1/35th scale, and although I have seen in HO scale when we cut a sign out of paper
Mm-hmm.
and we put it onto a wall, what's the most glaring visible thing to it?
When you put it on the wall?
Yeah, when we cut it out and
The
we
edges?
put yes,
Yeah.
edges. You see the paper edges. So it's easier for us because we sand it to blend it into that wall if we sand it down very thin, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've come to that point. Everybody's doing that, or everybody's done that, right? So, and we do that with our when you're doing 1/87 scale and you sand down that advertisement and you put it onto the wall. Yes, there is a paper edge, but because you sanded it right and it's so small of a scale, it doesn't matter. You don't see it as visibly because everything is smaller.
Right.
But if I do it on 1/35th scale, even if I sand the paper edges down to nothing, I mean to tissue, nothing, you're going to still see the edges because it's bigger and it's prominent. It'll still show them, and to me it'll look goofy.
Right.
It came with them. I don't want to do that. So it was scary because I'm really very satisfied, very pleased actually, with how my work came out on the rest of the building. And the weathering part I did and all those layers of stuff I put on, and I'm like, oh, I'm afraid to do this, but I kind of want to paint a sign on the side, like an actual painted sign.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that Martin from Night Shift on the YouTube channel Night Shift, 1/35th scale modeler, he did a diorama of a building that he used a stencil and hand painted a different French sign, and on his building, and I was like, that's a cool idea, So I kind of took from his a little bit his idea. And it's scary because you're painting this on. So if you screw it up, you're gonna have to redo that whole wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I taped off I found an image online and printed it for myself as a visual, and then I printed it in the size I needed exactly. Letters out on. I used the transfer tape. Put it on both sides of the paper, or put it on the back side of the actual photo of the sign,
Right.
and put it to a piece of manila cardstock from a manila folder, and pressed it down and glued it on there, and then cut out each individual letter of the big letters, and then down in the bottom there's a small lettering that says I guess it's founded in 1872. Okay, and it says Quina Lillet, and I don't know how to pronounce that exactly, but it's called Quina Lillet, and that I looked it up, and it means it was a chocolate vermouth, not chocolate, a coffee flavored vermouth liqueur that was real popular back in World War II, and all through the next couple of decades, but it went out of business, and they no longer sell that. However, it's out of production. So it has a blue field behind it, like a blue background with a white border. And so what I did was I made the stencil of those letters, and I put that aside. And that took forever, by the way. You made stencils before. I know you have. I see you do it. Cutting those little letters out is a pain in my ass.
Yeah. Did you print it and then cut them?
I printed it and then put the printed paper onto that a two-sided tape, and then stuck it to the manila folder, and then cut it out, and then cut basically a template.
Yeah.
A little bigger than than the sign itself.
Mm-hmm.
The letters are exactly the size I need them, but the outside edges of everything around it would cover the entire blue field. Anyhow, I took painter's tape and I put it on there and on the side of the wall, and kind of masked it off into the exact dimensions that I wanted for the sign. Took it over to the airbrush booth and spray painted the blue onto it. Okay, using a acrylic. I guess it was model color dark blue. It's called. Anyways, so I did that, and then I let that dry, and then I put, then after it dried, and I was pretty sure it dried after a few hours or quite half the day actually, I put the template over top and taped it down exactly in the position I wanted to over top of it, took it back to the booth and spray painted it again with the white, okay, with the letters for the lettering. Now, it did real well, by the way. It didn't really go under the. It kept in line. Okay. The only problem was when I pulled the thing off, it looked a little faint, which was fine. It gave me the exact outlines, and crisp outlines of the letters.
Yeah.
But it could have probably been a little brighter on the white. So what I did was I went with a brush inside those and brightened them up with a little more white paint by brush. Then I hand painted the lettering underneath. The font found in 1872, but they spell it Fonde. And I put that in underneath, and I think I matched it up pretty good. I put two thin pieces of model masking tape down. They're like narrow, they're maybe a 1/4 inch wide. And I put one on the bottom, one on the top of the, so that way I could keep the letters in the same, on the same line. Painted that. I was very happy with that. After I tried it like 3 times and screwed a couple letters up, and I had to take blue paint with a brush and go back over top of it to cover it. So, anyways, but I got it to where I wanted. It looked real. I was pretty impressed. Each step of this was scary. Okay.
Yeah. Then if you screw up, you gotta do a lot of major hiding of it too.
Yeah, either hiding of it or repainting the whole wall. Okay, airbrush the whole wall again, and then redo it again. And I didn't want to have to get in that. So, I also did, using that thin tape, went around the outside edges and masked it again, and did the white line. I did that with a brush, by the way. So I masked that white border line around there, and then did it with a white brush, or the brush with white paint. All that was done, and then I highlighted the black shadow on the lettering. You'll see it. You can find it on Facebook on pages there. We have it up there. You can see the whole step-by-step process, and I even labeled how to do that. I don't know if you saw that on Facebook, Brett.
Yep.
So under each picture, I kind of said what was going on at each place. And then after it dried, I had to let it dry. After that was all done, I was very satisfied with that, and it looked really good. It looked really good without it being weathered.
Right.
And then the whole time I was sitting there looking at it, thinking, yeah, maybe I just need to leave it alone. Maybe I need to leave it alone. But I kept turning the building, looking at the front, at a diagonal angle at it and everything else. I'm like, man, it's too damn bright. It's too damn bright. Now, the back of my head, I'm telling myself, you know what, though? It would have been, maybe it was new back then. Maybe they just painted it. We'll keep it fresh. And I'm like, nah, it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't look that way. So, and the whole time, it takes a lot of guts for any miler. Now, I'm not saying just for me, for any miler, to get to where it's satisfied and you're thinking, wow, that sign turned out fantastic and I'm proud of myself for it. Now, guess what? I'm going to destroy it.
And make it look terrible now.
I'm going to destroy it and put all kinds of shit on it and scrape paint off of it and everything else. So... I
made this sign look so good. Now let's make it look not so good.
Right. Well, you let it dry enough. And one of the things I noticed with some of the paints. Now, the paints I used on this were mostly all model color acrylics. Okay? Now, model color acrylics leave a bit of a rubbery film to them.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know why that is, but it just is.
They're not the same as the craft acrylic.
Well, it's not. It's not. And you get, and also you're dealing with it on plastic and not wood, so there's no absorption of the wood. Kind of absorbs some of the elements of the acrylics into it, where you don't get that with a plastic or a resin model. Now, what I did notice is the AK and MIG. You still get a little bit of that rubbery peel to it. Not as much.
Yeah.
No, monocolor. I love monocolor. They got an awesome paint. It goes on very, very nice. Okay, but God forbid you have to remove any of it because it comes off in peeled little layers.
It comes off
right?
not very nice.
Yeah, well, it can. You just got to really be careful with it. So the others, less of that. Okay, now, but monocolor has such a great selection of colors. It's insane. So anyhow, and the other ones are catching up on that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I let it dry, and then I took I had these little, they're like wire brushes in a pen.
Yeah.
And you could turn the back end of them, and they kind of come out, and you can extend them or whatever. And I have some in wire, and I have some in fiberglass. So I use one that they're like fiberglass wires,
Mm-hmm.
and I wet that down a little bit on the ends of them, and I put that on where I wanted it, and I just kind of scraped a little bit, and it was just taking it off like perfectly. And I think it's because that style paint peels up,
Yeah.
when you scrape it a little bit. And so what I was getting was the stucco underneath. And why was I getting the stucco underneath? And it's a step I failed to mention here.
You're peeling the stucco off with that.
I wasn't peeling the stucco off with it. And you know why that was?
Why?
Because I sprayed it with matte medium. It was a sealer, and I sprayed that a couple weeks ago with that matte medium sealer. A week ago, and I forgot about that
from sticking though.
Yeah, and it didn't peel up, so I was real happy with that. So it looks awesome, and it was like a happy mistake in a ways because I was trying to. I kind of put some blue paint where I didn't want it, and I tried to peel it off. The next thing you know, it's scraping off with it, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. And then I got it was just the peeled paint in spots, right?
Yeah.
But then I looked at the prototype photo that was also kind of like a ghost photo, a ghost sign. We talk about signs, but it had white blotches. Okay, where it was fading or the paint from underneath was showing of some white paint. And so I just kind of lightly used a deer foot brush and kind of dry brushed it, but was stippling it, So I stippled it with the deer foot brush by taking most of the paint out of the deer foot brush on white and just lightly touching it and tapping it. I do better. A lot of people like to use a sponge when they, how when you see the videos of people, weathering with a sponge.
Uh-huh.
I do well with the sponges.
You don't like?
I don't know what you do.
I love it.
I'm horrible at it. Okay, what happens is I don't know what happens if it's too much pressure, but I get big blotches all over the place.
I think you're pressing too hard.
Yeah, I am. And then you ever see the people? Like, I know Jason Jensen's done it that way. I've seen some of the military modelers do it, where they put the sponge in a pair of pliers, the self-locking pliers, right? And they use the pliers and just dab lightly with it. Well, what happens for me is the center of the sponge is putting too much on because of the pliers holding it from behind. I don't know if I'm pressing too much on it, and the tips of those pliers are going through, and I get these ugly blotches. So anyways, I try and avoid that. I use sponges for a lot of things, and I'll do it that way if I'm doing an entire wall and I got to surface an entire wall like that. That's fine. But if I'm just trying to do pinpointed areas, it's really tough. So I have these deer foot brushes I use. I get them at the art stores. They're not cheap, but they hold up. I've had them for a couple years now, and I use a deer foot brush, and it just allows me to stipple where I need to have that kind of a texture.
Yeah.
And I did that. And it turned out pretty good. I took a couple I took some white
Yes.
sorry the where are they? Pan pastels.
Yeah.
White pan. God damn, I haven't used them so long, and now I forgot what they were. I took the pan pastels in white, and it basically, or just you could use regular chalk, pastel chalks, and I did some white streaking down from the very bottom of the sign to show where like maybe rain would have helped wash some of the paint down after time.
Yeah.
I did that a little bit, and I did a little bit with the black as well, and some of that, but it's not quite as visible.
Yeah, I didn't notice the black's not too. It's not too noticeable.
I didn't want it to be. It's only short, and I draw everything straight down. It's just straight down. But yeah, and that's done, and I'm really looking at it right now, and I'm really, really happy with it. It turned out better than I expected. So I have not hand painted any signs quite like that before.
No, it turned out great.
So for me, that was kind of neat. I think I might try it on something else in the future, but it was definitely a full day's work.
Oh yeah.
But it was fun. So did that. Now I'm working on an advertising kiosk. They call them advertising kiosks or advertising columns. It's a kit that I bought. I bought it from a company called Last Calvary, and they're located out in Royal Oak, Michigan. And they have it's made by Reality in Scale. They make diorama studio type pieces, and it's another resin piece, but it's a column, and it's like oblique. It's like a narrow column.
Yeah.
And it has one, and then in Europe they're found all over the place on street corners and stuff, and they advertise on those, put up news stories and post public notices on them. Or nowadays it's more of advertising for concerts and Broadway shows and shit like that.
Yeah.
Back then they were used for all kinds of things, and in France they were heavily used as well by the French Resistance. So they would go out and they would post their stuff all over these things at night. And now if I'm the Germans and and I would be putting guard outside these things and waiting for them at night to go out.
Or just tear them down.
Signs, right. But yeah, I mean, you want to catch the guys, right? They're the enemy. So, sorry. It's my brother, and he should not be calling. I thought I turned that volume down.
It's all right. Hey, you keep talking about them real quick. I'm going to run upstairs real fast, but keep talking.
Hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
Keep talking about them. I'm going to be back in 30 seconds.
Got it.
All right.
So, yeah, I put these things up, and while I'm talking to you, I'm turning my volume down. I thought I'd turn I always turn my volume down before the podcast. Make sure that we don't get any... it is up. Ring volume is up. Whatever. And now it's off. So I turn it down so we don't get interruptions like that, and now you just got it. It was For Whom the Bells Toll by AC/DC as my ringtone. Anyhow, so the columns are pretty cool. So I bought one of those, and I'm going to put it in this scene of this French village, and it's going to sit on the sidewalk off the side of the road. I put it together, and I primered it and painted it here today. And I'm starting the weathering part. I put a black wash on top that goes into all the decorative nooks and crannies. It's turned out very nice already. And then I went online. I found some old newspapers and different notices that were used during World War II by the French Resistance, posters and such, and put them up. It came with some French posters too. I may use some of those as well, and you kind of put them on, overlap them, and but it's very it's very common pretty much all through Europe, and it's not just France. Of course, they have in Italy and Germany and Belgium and those places too. So it's I believe in Great Britain. Now they're not everywhere, but they do have them, and some of them are still some of the originals from what I've done some research and such. So and that's a new thing I'm trying to do, and it's going to go with my diorama. I got a bunch of those little pieces and parts that I picked up here and there that I when you decide to do a diorama of a town or some small village, there's a lot. Hi, buddy. You gonna come in here to steal something from me? My dog's here, Brett. Boomer. Anyhow, he should not be in here, but I thought I shut the door. He came in the other door from the sewing room that my wife is in. But I bought there's going to be a canal on this on the lower level. There'll be a canal that goes through, and I have a rowboat with a guy sitting in it and with all his personal belongings. And but all these kind of small details are things that are going to take time to build and design or paint up. I have lots of figures to do. I have. Hey, welcome back.
I'm here.
We'll talk about the things that this kiosk that I'm building for the advertising kit, and that's going to go in the street corner. I was telling them, but and
were you filling them in that? Were you doing filler content while I was out there? I had to take my dog out.
Okay, well, so my dog came in here to try and steal something off my workbench. He already ate one of your mom's shoes today.
Oh, nice.
That did not go down well. There was not much left of that shoe. And so we had to throw the pair away. And then, of course, last night he decided he was going to eat one of the pillows off of my recliner, and he did that. And he was in trouble for that, too. So we got to watch him. Now, you bought your dog a bully bone when I was over there the other week. How long did it take your dogs to go through a bully bone?
Which dog?
Either one.
So we got a new dog. People don't know that. We also have a puppy now. It's we've had it for 2 weeks. So I have a 11-week-old puppy and a almost 12-year-old puppy. So the 12-year-old puppy went through a bully bone in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
He destroyed that, and there was supposed to be for like heavy chewers, and they're supposed to last a while, and it took Flint about maybe 45 minutes. He was gone.
Okay.
Now the other bully bone, which is being chewed by the puppy, is barely even touched, and he's chewing on it like crazy, and it doesn't. But I mean, you're talking about a 12-year-old dog who ripped through it in no time versus a little tiny puppy.
Well, my puppy's 6 months now. He's 6 months, and he got a full one the other day. I went out and bought one of those 3-packs at
They smell like piss.
Oh, horrible! So I'll tell you a story about that. You're gonna laugh at this one.
Well, okay. You know why they smell like piss?
Knows what a bully bone is, right?
Yeah, it's a bull penis.
It's a bull penis, right? So it's naturally probably not gonna smell good anyways, but it really smells bad when they start chewing on them, right?
Yep. Yeah, I thought someone peed on the couch or around the couch.
Oh, yeah, wow. Well, this one, he went through his about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. It was gone. And so he did a number on it quick. But, no, he's a little bigger than your pup. He's a little older, too. He's 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he did that the other day. And then I got another one out today. And I thought, well, I'm not giving you the whole thing. It's one of those real long ones, 15, 18 inches, probably 15 inches. And I was like, I'm going to cut it in half. So I thought I'd bring it in here, and I tried to break it in half in my hand. Well, you can't do it. I can't. I'm a strong guy. I can't break that in half. And I tried. I can't do it. Did you try and break one?
No. Didn't even think about it.
Oh, God. Yeah, it ain't happening. So I brought it in here, and I have a hobby saw and a miter, one of those miter saws, a hobby miter saws by Excel. Oh no, I think mine is it doesn't matter. It's X-Acto actually, and I put it in my X-Acto hobby saw thing, and decided I was going to saw it in half. Okay, and I did, and it did. It took forever to go through it. By the way, that's how hard they are. And I guess a bull penis should be hard, but
Okay.
anyways, I cut it in half, and then for like the next, I don't know, half hour or so, I had the thing sit. I set the miter box over to the side, and I kept smelling this. It was like a burnt. It was like a burnt smell. It was awful. It was whatever that smell is when they chew on it. Worse because it got sawed and the dust smelled like.
Oh
like
man, you had dust everywhere.
they just- Anyhow,
Oh
that's my
man.
day. That's when I cut that on my workbench. But and that lasted probably a half hour for half of one of those, or maybe 45 minutes or so, and it was going. And
Dang.
yeah, they're really expensive too. Holy shit.
Yeah, I got a 3-pack at
Yeah,
PetSmart, and I was like, we'll see if they last a while. I don't mind, but my big dog chewed through it in no time.
it was $18 for a 3-pack. But if you buy an individual one up there, they sell them individually in a bin up there.
Mm-hmm.
And the individual ones were $13 a piece. And I was like, well, and they were shorter.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go back down the aisle and grab the 3-pack for 18. And I don't know if this is going to be a habit thing. I don't think it's going to be a habit. It's going to be a special treat once in a while when Daddy hits the lottery or something. I don't know, because it's yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Expensive. So, but
Yeah.
and said they're not like. I asked you the other week if they're like a rawhide, and you said no, it's not a rawhide. Well, it is kind of like a rawhide. It's the same thing.
No, it's not rawhide, because rawhide's like the white stuff that.
Yeah, but it turns white on the end when they're chewing on it.
Nah, it's not a rawhide.
It's still the same thing, man. It's cow leather.
Rawhide's different, Dad. Rawhide's like a white. Nah.
Anyhow, whatever. So I did that today, but yeah. So the building. I'll wrap this up here. The building for me. It's going to be. I had to sit and decide what kind of shop it's going to be. It's going to be a cheese shop.
Okay.
Next to the cafe. Okay. And so that will be called, I had to look that up so you can make a sign that you're going to make for me called Fromagerie. And it's going to say La Fromagerie, which is cheese shop in French. And I'm probably pronouncing it all wrong. And somebody that knows French is going to come up, or somebody that is French to rip us up on the show. But that's what I'm making this. And as a result, I went and ordered from Mini Art. They make a cheese seller with a cart, has all these different types of cheeses and cheese wheels and stuff like that. And I'm going to paint all that up and put it out front of the store. And then the inside displays on the windows, I have another kit that I got from the same thing, Mini Art, and that is for an actual cheese display. It has all various types of wheels of cheeses and stuff. So, and I'm going to put that as a display inside the lower windows, and then curtains up top. And then this will be built. The buildings will be wrapped up, and I can start working more of the diorama, the streets, the canal, all that stuff. I'll start getting to work on it because the 3 main elements are done or about done, and that's the 2 buildings and the military vehicle.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
That'll be good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Nice. Well, I've been working on the railroad. No, I'm just kidding. That was a dumbass joke.
That was good, though. That was good.
I've been working on obviously the Westboro Sandhouse. I kind of stalled out because I'm missing a part, which is a roof panel on it, and I just was like, fuck it, I'm gonna walk away and just not do the roof panel.
It didn't have the roof panel in it?
I was missing one piece.
Is it hard to do it?
No, it's just one of those things where you're like, I gotta go do this.
Can you make one?
I can. It's not. It's not a big problem. It's just.
Oh,
I just like. I was like,
well,
well, I'm gonna walk away and do this now, and now I'm over here rearranging buildings. Then the last 2 nights I spent rearranging buildings because all we did was just stick them on the layout. Like, here you go.
yeah, you sent some pictures of it. I really like it.
Yeah, so I was rearranging the buildings around the wharf,
Uh-huh.
which would be the center section, and I'm trying to do it in a way where we can have like the buildings that are gonna go on piers or pilings and docks.
Yeah.
Any kind of building that's going on a pier is in the front where the water will be, and then behind it, I'm gonna have the buildings that'll be on land but close to the water
And accessible from track.
Yeah, so the track's gonna be behind
Road.
it. Yeah, yeah. I made a road up the center, and then there's buildings on either side where the
Good.
fishing / sea industry buildings would be.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I love it. When you sent me the pictures, it looked pretty cool.
So I'm working on that. I'm gonna I was doing that earlier before we jumped on. I'll probably do that a little bit later too, just as like a fun. It's fun to get up there and start messing around with buildings and like, oh, this looks good here. This looks good there.
Yeah.
This fits in that corner. So I, I was just having fun messing around with locations of buildings.
Right.
So
Very cool.
that's what I've been working on. But I am going to spend some time this weekend as well, actually starting to work on getting some scenery down on top of that foam, like road, getting it laid out.
Oh, okay.
Not putting down all the scenery, but getting it laid out to put roads in, to get things set up to start putting down or cutting away where we're going to put the water, stuff like that.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I'll probably do that. I'll probably start casting some concrete and stone walls to start building retaining walls, because I know we're going to have to put some walls in. I might also go get some foam and begin to build up that section where we're going to lift it on that countryside.
Yeah.
And maybe start working over there, but we'll figure that out. I'm not going to work. I'm going to work on one section at a time to start.
Right.
So,
and that's the best way.
Right now, I'm just going to start working on the water section this weekend, and I'm probably not going to cut anything down, but I'm going to just start drawing out where we're going to put things as an idea. Because if I just use a Sharpie on the foam, it's not like if we end up not liking the way I think I have it drawn out, then we can always it's just a Sharpie. It's not like I'm cutting into anything yet.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to start in that center part where you're at with the
work out.
And I think maybe both of us this time last time on the other layout, we had you working on one end and me working on the other end, and I don't think you get the best of we're going to get the best of it that way.
Yeah.
I think the best of it is if we're both working together on one section. Okay, and making it happen at the same time when we're both down there together, and so that's how I personally feel. We didn't really discuss or talk about that. But,
I mean, inevitably we're gonna end up working on different sections.
Well, yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, we'll just play it by ear.
Yeah, like I said, it's pretty cool. I love the idea of the roads and the tracks coming down through the middle of that. And the nice thing about that will be is, see, on the other sides, the other two branch outs from the main long section in the back, every part of that has road bed down on it already. This section here does not. So it allows us to figure out how many spurs that we're going to have coming off of those tracks.
Right.
How many turnouts we're going to have. We can do it now and lay it out. And we'll be able to tell you, it's good that we didn't put anything down there yet. There's no cork road bed down or anything. And this way it allows us to decide just how much of a yard we want through there.
Yeah.
So I love that idea.
No, it's going to be good. So I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to start getting some scenery laid down, which I might just do a little bit of it anyways this weekend, just because it'll get it started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. We'll see how we go.
Get the itch going again, man. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be cool. So did you want me to come down and help you with any of that, or what's the deal?
It's up to you.
Well, I'm available all day Sunday, but I know there's some stuff going on with the girls too.
Yeah,
so.
we got sports all day with the girls.
Oh, so you're going to be doing that when, Saturday or Friday?
I don't know, honestly. Whenever I have a Friday,
Well, I'll
it's
just let
either
you do
Friday
it.
or it's either Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. So okay, well we'll figure that out on our own. But yeah, that sounds cool. I'm really excited about that. Now this Saturday, I'm going to a model show at Messiah University here in Grantham, Pennsylvania, right down the road, and it's an IPMS, International Plastic Modeler Society. They are having a show there. It's called PenCon, and that starts, I believe, at 9 in the morning and goes until 4 in the afternoon. If anybody wants to go down, I don't know what tickets are costing, but it's not really expensive in any way. And but I'm going to be going down there, I believe, and showing my displaying the waterfall scene that we had that I did from the Fox Scale Models kit that big
Varga Falls.
Yeah, Varga Falls.
Rush Rock Falls.
Yeah, well, yeah, Rush Rock Falls. So once I have all that done, I have it done. You're going to bring it over. We're going to take it down to the show, put it on the table. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'm going to display that at the actual event, because it's not just plastic modelers. That's one of the things I like about it. The organization. Yes, it's called the International Plastic Modeler Society, and my dog is barking for please don't bark, and that's going to work. So that's a beagle sound for you there. But maybe if you take him out of the room back there, and he won't do that during our podcast. But yeah, that's
well, it's all right anyways, because we're
wrapping up.
I gotta wrap because I gotta go upstairs to make sure my dog is not torn apart.
Well, one of the things I like about this organization is, at least my chapter, hopefully all of them are like that. Yes, I like to plastic model, but they also are encouraging. Oh my God!
It's all right. It only bothers you. It's funny.
I know. Okay, well, it's terrible. He's barking at the cat who's in the closet in the other room, and beagles are loud. Anyways, I've brought a couple of my structure buildings that are HO scale structure buildings, and they love them at the meetings, and they said that is just awesome. I said, well, it's not exactly plastic. They said, we don't care. It's modeling.
Yeah.
It's model. They look at it as, and the organization is, I believe, looks at it as modeling. It's not necessarily what the compound is. It's what you have put into it. Okay, so they were fascinated with that. They thought that was cool, and I'm going to bring this big display.
It's awesome that it's a different type of modeling group that's interested in seeing a different type of modeling from what they normally have in their group. It's
great that that community accepts it.
Yeah,
and they accept each other, and that's really cool because they agree. I've talked about it with them. Right, and you can learn so much from each other on this stuff. I learned so much from them, and vice versa. It's just it's very nice, and that's how this hobby should be. There's not many other hobbies like that. We've came from some that are not like that, and that was cool. So so I'm gonna have that on display down there, and we'll see how that all goes, and I'm looking forward to that. But I'll probably walk away with some goodies. There's vendors and stuff there, and can't wait. I'll probably get some paints because I don't have any paints.
No.
And
I was thinking you were running pretty low as it is.
I'm not buying any paints.
All right. I'm excited to hear how that goes. I might end up swinging down. I have a vet appointment. I have to go. I don't go to a normal doctor. I go to a vet because I have fleas and they give me really nice collars. No. Anyways. We got our puppy, so I have to take him to his first vet appointment on Saturday. Afterwards, I might swing down for the last hour and check out that show with you, so I'm excited. But I got one question to wrap up and one topic, and I learned it in between our last show and this show.
Yeah.
But do you know what an NBW is?
Yeah. It's a bolt.
I didn't
The
know until
Oh,
I did this Westboro
I don't know
Sandhouse
what it stands for exactly,
nut bolt
but
washer.
not boat washer. Okay, I have some in a box somewhere here. But
Well,
yeah,
I put them up, and I didn't even name it. I'm just like, oh, I got these little buggers done on my build, and everyone's like, oh man, NBWs add such cool, and I played it off like, yeah, NBWs, yeah, they're great, and I'm like, shit, I gotta look up what an NBW means, and then I ended up going down the research trail and found a forum from the Modelers Forum of what an NBW is, and I learned, and I made a little post about it, how I didn't know what they were. Now I know.
oh, okay,
But
cool.
I didn't know if you did. I was trying to stump you, and
I
apparently
did.
I
No,
did not.
I've used them before on a couple of models, and
They do
in
make
fact,
a difference though when they're
they do.
on the build.
Right, they do. I used them on Baxter's uh, what was that called?
Baxter's building supply.
Yeah, from that was a
That's an
um,
old FSM.
yeah, the FSM kit. When I built that, there were some of them in there, and there's one or two other models that had it
The
as well.
thing about them is
To really bring it out.
they make the timbers actually look heavy. Like if you're gonna use them
Yeah,
on a wood timber, it makes them look heavier. Like,
yeah,
oh damn, look at this, look at these bolts. Now you have to be careful with the sizing of them because they can look not to scale pretty quick, I think.
yeah.
But
Yeah, there's they sell various sizes, and
yeah,
I think they sell some.
and I think
Um,
Carl he sent me a message on it asking me how if I because the instructions technically tell you to drill a hole and you put the bolt through the hole and whatever in the wood, and I didn't do that. I just cut the head off of it, the
yeah.
washer and the bolt, the washer and the nut part, and cut the bolt off. And I just
Okay.
glued the washer and the front-facing bolt onto the wood. I cut the part off that you're supposed to stick into the hole you drill.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not drilling holes in this and then dealing with. No. I was like, I'm just gonna cut the head of it off, glue it on the wood. You can't tell anyways. It's the only part that's visible.
Do you have a pin vise for a drill?
I do, but I didn't want to mess around with it. I was like, why am I doing?
got you.
Why am I going through all this work? I could just cut the head off and glue it on, and it saves 20 minutes. And
Yeah, you're
and,
right there.
and you don't know the difference. It's not like it's structurally
Yeah,
holding it
that's true.
together.
Right. Good point. That's a good point.
No one's
Yeah.
gonna look at it and go, "Oh, you didn't put the hole in there for your." You can't even tell. It's too
Nah.
much work.
Yeah.
It's too much work. So I just cut them off and glued them on. And
They look awesome when you do them, though, man.
they do. I think it's okay if they're scaled a bit larger than they're supposed to be if they were actually to scale. Because first of all, if they were to scale, they'd be even more of a pain in the ass at this size to put on
Oh yeah.
at
Yeah,
our at HO scale.
yeah they gotta make them visible.
And it's okay. I think we've talked about this before. It's okay to exaggerate the size of certain super small details
Right.
slightly, as long as
Yeah.
it's still believable.
Right.
Because
Right.
otherwise, some things are so small, but you want to show the detail of them that
Right.
you would never be able to, you would never be able to do it any justice if you just went perfectly to scale on certain details.
Right. Sure.
And then you could even argue that like the red brick pattern on some HO scale walls is a little bit larger than what it would be perfectly to scale.
Right.
Because
I
like
would agree.
a red brick is, I looked it up. A red brick, standard red brick is 7.67 inches or
Okay.
something like that, 6.4 inches wide. Well, if you look at the red brick in some of the extruded plastic, like molded, injection molded buildings, or
Yeah.
even like the what are they called? Like the plaster walls.
Hydrocal plastic.
Hydrocal walls, yeah. The bricks are much bigger to scale than 7-inch bricks.
Right.
But if
right.
they did it to scale, it would look weird.
Yeah, it would look ridiculous.
They'd be too small. Like
Right.
yeah, and if
Take
you,
any building you have as a brick and take a HO scale figure.
I was just doing
Okay.
it. I just did that. I held his hand up to the brick.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
the size of his head.
I know.
But you have to do that or else you won't see that detail.
Right. I
But
get
it's
that. I
small.
get that.
It's still small enough, and this is the same argument I'm having with the MBWs.
Right.
Is it's the same concept of they're slightly bigger,
Right.
but they're big enough to be visible and do and give you the effect of what you were looking for that detail, but they're not so big that it's unbelievable.
They have to do that in HO scale and N scale, and
Yeah.
it's just how even maybe not O scale, because I look at it. If I look at the bricks here on 1/35th scale, which isn't far off of O scale, when I look at those size bricks, and I look at a figure it's 1/35th scale, and it's pretty accurate. But it's easier to do that because everything's larger.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the larger you get, the easier it's gonna get.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it to me it was just an interesting thing I started to think about, like, oh, you have to kind of have a little bit of freedom on it, or else these NBWs are going to be way too small to even really work with or see. So
Yeah, exactly.
Same with brick, or same with even, I think Doug was talking about this when he had him on before, like even windows and door sizes you have to play with to make them believable, basically. Like,
Right.
you can't have everything 1-to-1, or you can't have everything scale 1-to-1.
No.
So, yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, I don't want to cut this too short, but you know how it is with little puppies. I'm worried that if you leave him alone for more than 30 minutes at a time, he's gonna piss everywhere. So I'm gonna go up and.
You put him in his crate.
No, I left. I'm on living life on the edge. So I went up earlier. That was my break before to go check, and he didn't pee anywhere. So I ran him outside real quick to pee.
Oh, okay.
So he was up there for like 40 minutes solo, didn't pee. Took him out to pee, but I heard him and Flint up there just doing something. So who knows what's going on.
All right. Well, we'll let you go. We're going to wrap it up. I'll have some more news for you next week, I'm sure. And a couple things I want to talk about, too.
Well, this will go up Friday. I'm going to put this up tomorrow, or today when you're listening. Tomorrow night, which will be Friday when everyone's listening, I may do a live stream while I'm at the actual layout, just while I'm goofing around, moving buildings and starting to work with the foam. I might go live, so I'm not going to promise it. I don't know what time it'll be, but I might just go up live randomly tomorrow night.
Sounds good.
So, cool.
It's good. All right.
Alrighty, that was good. I will catch you guys on 196 again next week.
197.
No, I know. We were joking because you said in the beginning it feels like
gotcha.
Never mind.
Yeah, no, it went right over my head.
We got to do something cool for 200, though, so we got to line that
So
up.
what to think of something, man. Anybody out there have some suggestions of what you want us to do for 200? Shoot them out now, because we got, 3 or 4 weeks here, and we need to prepare it. So,
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. I will talk to you later. Y'all have a good night.
Have an awesome one.
Model on. Peace out.